Now, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Accordingly, burning 100 years ago were conflagrations whose embers rekindle today with the threat of literal and figurative five-alarm fires. On June 25th, 1925, the thermometer atop Seattle's 18-story Hogue building recorded the then warmest temperature in Northwest history. As the mercury climbed to 98 degrees, the city's two major dailies sported banner weather headlines. Although numerous small fires had broken out across western Washington, the Seattle Times assured its readers that they were reported under control. Fire wardens will exercise every precaution as long as the dry weather remains. The next day, however, hopes evaporated when the Lake Sammamish mill town of Monohon, 4 miles west of Issaquah, went up in smoke. The fire began just after noon, reported the Post-Intelligencer's R.B. Berman, when a cigarette tossed aside in the sawmill's washroom started a conflagration which raged unchecked until the whole settlement was virtually destroyed. Along with dozens of homes, Monohon's railroad depot, hotel, general store, and the J.E. Bratnober sawmill were blotted from the earth, Berman said, as though some gigantic monster had stepped on them, crushing everything to the ground. The intense heat had shriveled vegetables on their vines and blackened trees within hundreds of yards. Young chickens in their coops were baked to a crisp. Firefighting efforts were stymied when the road running through town was engulfed in flames. Inadequate hoses and pumps having failed, attempts to check the fire with dynamite blew blazing timbers all over town, starting dozens of new fires. Historian Phil Doherty, whose HistoryLink essay offers a thorough and colorful account of the disaster and its aftermath, wrote, "The mill rebuilt and survived in various incarnations until 1980, but Monohon itself was gone." Although no deaths or injuries were reported, everything that had made this little town of 300 souls almost the Valhalla of Lake Sammamish, gone. A century later, these events continue to send up smoke signals. The National Forest Service, whose hotshot crews of firefighters have battled wilderness infernos for the past 100 years, has been hit by workforce cuts from the Trump administration. As recently reported in the Seattle Times, significant personnel losses are being reported by individual forests across Washington state. Forest Service officials privately predict disaster for the upcoming fire season. One Washington manager saying that without experienced employees, the West will burn. This is one rhyme we can only hope against hope not to repeat. In our first then photo, the Monohon Depot, servicing the Northern Pacific Railroad circa 1909. This might be the station master and his family in a gated garden. The railroad's yin-yang logo hangs from a gazebo. In our second then photo, after the fire on June 26, 1925, nothing remained but the mill's incinerator. In our next then photo, part of a Post-Intelligencer photo pastiche published 2 days after the fire shows salvaged furniture in stacks just west of town, and the June family with son Wesley, 2 years old, after they lost their home and belongings. In our final then photo, the hamlet of Monohon, with dozens of mill workers' houses overlooking Lake Sammamish, was home to the J.E. Bratnober sawmill, where a cast-off cigarette reportedly ignited a devastating fire. In our now photo, standing on the train depot site in May, from left to right, are Issaquah Historical Museum Executive Director Paul Winterstein, Maynard Pilley, historian Phil Doherty, Claridel and Harry Shedd, and David Bangs. They're hoisting an original Monohon sign from the museum's collection. An unidentified dog walker pauses on the former train tracks.
One of the things you learn in the history world. Okay, well that
they were good friends. They were both.
One of the things you learn in the world of history is
steam engines.